On this episode of the Star Trek Universe podcast, we are talking about Star Trek Lower Decks 209, wej Duj. I think that's how you say it. I'm going to screw up a lot of Klingon words in this episode. Right after these words from our mystery sponsors. Welcome to Star Trek Universe Podcast, a podcast where you get to listen in on the continuing Star Trek conversation that two lifelong friends have been having since they were 6 years old. My name is Matthew Carroll. I am David C. Robertson.
Oh, Dave, we had our penultimate episode of Lower Decks. What'd you think, bud?
This is probably my favorite episode of Lower Decks.
I am going to wholeheartedly agree with you.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like when that happens.
And mostly, I think it's just a really good balance. And I think I'm realizing, I don't know, sometimes I enjoy this show when it's just completely silly. But I just really, for me, this show hits better when there's a few great jokes, but there's like a good story behind it. And it's a weird balance because I was listening to the some Star Trek announcement today or whatever. And, it was an old trailer for like what's coming in Star Trek, and they called this a teen comedy. And I was like, okay, I guess it's a teen comedy. I guess that makes sense. It's like kind of teenaged, like a lot of, like we keep saying, a lot of the plots have like that sort of after school vibe to them. The plots themselves, not to say it's not well executed, it's just kind of like, oh, she learned to listen to her mom, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that happens on the show, and those feel very, I don't know, not super interesting plots, but like this was super fun, like getting to see I mean, the first thing, the concept of the episode where they're jumping from different versions of Lower Decks, like different Lower Decks, the Vulcans, the Klingons, me too. As soon as it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get a Klingon Lower Decks episode. And then it was like, and then the Vulcans, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And then I kind of knew I was hoping they would converge, and then they did, and it was awesome. And you got a moment of Pakled, which was pretty funny. And then you had a moment of Borg Lower Decks, and that was real silly as a kind of post-credits thing.
I love the Pakled. I loved, I am hungry. You should eat.
You are smart. So stupid. So stupid.
It is, but I don't know if it's any more dumb than the Pakleds were on TNG.
No, I don't claim that it's any dumber, but it's dumb. I'm just saying
it's real dumb. It's real dumb. So I liked Boimler trying to find, I actually enjoyed Boimler trying to find a bridge buddy, more than I liked the subsequent story with him when he actually was pretending to be from Hawaii. I liked him trying to like horn in on what the others were doing. I especially love the Star Trek V reference with El Capitan and him wearing the shirt that says, go climb a rock.
Yeah.
And the gravity boots. God, the gravity boots.
Yeah. It was pretty great. Pretty classic.
Yeah. I love pulling out a format, and being a little more,
experimental, really.
Experimental, a little more clever with their storytelling. I really hope T'Lyn gets reassigned to the Cerritos. I assume she will.
Yeah. And I think it might happen in the next episode. Actually, I'm really interested in this. I completely think a Vulcan would be a great addition to this cast, because it would be like, and she's a sort of rebellious Vulcan, but she still would be a much more, logical character than any of them, you know what I mean? So I'm excited to see Vulcan would just like spice this cast up. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
But also, this episode ended, this Pakled thing has been going through the whole season,
Absolutely.
And so this was a through line, and it ended with this, like, we find out it's a like, treacherous Klingon who's like, that's such a fun, it's a really fun thing. And so they end up killing that Klingon, and then at the end of the episode, they say, we've figured this out, we're gonna have to contact Starfleet Command, and they're gonna have some words for the High Council. And I'm really curious what will happen next. And like, I haven't felt that way on Lower Decks before. Where like I'm leaving an episode, I'm like, okay, we're about to see the season finale. I felt like this should have been the season finale, but are they going to do something bigger for the season finale? Will it connect to this plot line, or is this over for now?
Well, no, remember the Pakleds got away, and they've still got a bomb because Dorg transported a bomb. They've got one more boomer.
That's true. One more boomer indeed.
One more Veruvian bomb.
It would not work anymore. Like, you only use it once. It's a bomb.
It's a bomb. Oh, red alarm. Red alarm.
Oh, that was really funny. Very, very funny. Yeah. Welcome to Pakled Station, Pakled.
What was it? No, it was the Pakled ship. What was it called? Clump ship?
Oh,
it was the class of the ship was Clump ship, I think. And then the Pakled ship, the Clump ship is named Pakled.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was so much fun. I laughed so hard. I laughed a lot in this episode.
Yeah. And I really liked, I am Captain whatever he says. Like, I know we've met several times.
Oh God. Yeah.
They're one of the more entertaining and funny things about this show, but they're also, we've discussed how they're offensive, but I think I'm just going to decide to start ignoring that, because if they're going to continue using them like this, I'm just going to try to enjoy them.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm on the fence about whether or not they're offensive, but, I didn't intend to do that, but I did that. But they are funny. So.
Yeah, they are funny. They are indeed. Man, such a fun thing. And like, I just really enjoyed like how they passed it off from crew to crew, and then it all ended. It reminded me of a great Star Trek book. A lot of times you'll get the books where you'll like, be reading about something going on a Vulcan station somewhere, and like you read about that for 16 chapters before you realize, oh, that's how it's going to connect to what's going on over here, you know? And like different people in different parts of the galaxy having pieces of information that they need to solve a problem. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun, man. Very, very cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching what is it, Mach? Is that his name? The guy that kills Dorg and becomes a captain, like former Lower Decker. I loved seeing him move up in rank and stand up for what he believes. And I love Dorg. I'm sad that he's dead, honestly, in a little bit. Like, he was a lot of fun. When he gets stabbed with that knife, the way he like wild-eyed laughs before he dies was just really interesting. Yeah. And fun.
I agree. And I really liked their whole fight. And I agree. I liked how he stepped up. And I liked how he stepped up and won, but his winning wasn't. So like the Vulcan storyline, it's her coloring outside the line. It's kind of the classic way you get to know a Vulcan character, because they're like gonna be a little less Vulcan than the other Vulcans, right?
Right. She's too instinctual.
Yeah. But when it comes to the reason he fought his captain, it was for Klingon honor, you know, like he realized his captain was doing something dishonorable, like, and that's why he stepped into that fight. He's like, these aren't our enemies. You're like sabotaging peace through treachery. Like, that's not what Klingons do. Does the High Council know about this? And, you know, he's like, yeah, it's like I just like that they didn't have this Klingon be a little less Klingon, and that's why we like him. He was like more Klingon, you know, he's like really trying to fight for Klingon values, and he ends up killing that guy.
Yeah, I really liked that.
Same, man, same. I also liked, it's kind of sad, but there's a little bit of a moment where, I guess you said his name's Gorg? What'd you say his name was?
Dorg,
sorry. There's a moment where Dorg is, about to stab the, Lower Decker, and he's about to stab him, and then his Targ jumps in and, bites him, and it's clear the Lower Decker has been feeding the Targ, so we know the Targ likes him better because he's treated well by the Lower Decker, but then Dorg kicks him, and it's like, this guy's been abusive to this dog, and now he's about to hurt the lower decker who's been feeding him and treating him well, and the Targ jumps into the battle. And I was both saddened because there's like a bit of a, it seems like this dog has been abused storyline, but like I liked it. It was just really like, it's very subtle and just fun, and I don't know, it was great.
Yeah, I love that. Also it was an honorable movement. Yeah.
Also, when they're making fun of the Vulcans before it heads over, they say avoid death and cower instead of live long and prosper. That's good.
Yep, that's good. That's good. Man, I know he's barely in it, but Shaxx kind of won the show for me a little bit. This too. Like I loved Shaxx this episode. I always like Shaxx a lot. But, you think I had time for anything other than resisting? Fighting fascism is a full-time job. And the whole take your never-ending bonfire of rage and bury it in the clay.
Yep, that was one of my favorite lines.
And to have, like, Rutherford, like, being like, put it in the clay, Papa. Put it in the clay. Papa Bear. That's what you call him, Papa Bear. Put it in the clay, Papa Bear. Put it in the clay. He's like, I'm going to fight. I'm going to get revenge. I'm going to make a cute little ashtray for my incense. It's going to look like a puppy. Ooh, a puppy. I love Shaxx so much.
Yeah, Shaxx is hilarious, and so is Rutherford. Like, I like them both a lot.
Yeah. And I did love that. There's this great bit where, like I said, Boimler's going around to all the different people trying to horn in on their bridge buddy time. And Boimler just walks in to see like Mariner and her mom screaming at each other while they're like shooting the little thing. Like the dialogue was, why would you tell an entire shift I get bad cramps? You were on duty. Your commanding officers have to know any medical issues that could impact the mission. Billups does not need to know. He's not good with that stuff. It freaked him out. If I had to dance around everything that freaks out Billups, we wouldn't get anything done. Cool. Then maybe I'll tell him to boost the environmental controls to help you with your hot flashes. I love that. It was such a mother-daughter conversation.
Yep. Really.
I was just so pleased, and he was just like, nope, I'm done. I'm not interrupting this.
Oh man, so good. Really good. Did you get the Vulcan's name? Because it seems like she might be on the show now. T'Lyn. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. By the way, her captain, Mark Evan Jackson. I knew his voice and I looked him up. He plays Captain Holt's husband on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's also in The Good Place. He's in a bunch of other stuff. He's fantastic as the Vulcan captain.
That's great. Speaking of voices, did you catch, and I may be wrong, I may be just totally off my rocker, but at one point they said like, just a voice over the comms came on and it was like, transmission from something coming through or something like that, Captain. And it like, I could have sworn it was Michael Doran's voice.
Dude, my wife said the same thing and I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, I thought it was Michael Doran's voice both times, yeah. And so I bet they grabbed an old clip of Michael Doran to throw in here just because they were like, it's a Klingon ship, might as well.
Yeah, that would be fun. I haven't seen it anywhere. I haven't seen any confirmation of that. I actually looked and, of course, probably the second we upload this, someone will update it and say that, yes, that was confirmation, thereby making me look like a dipshit. But, well, it was right here. Why didn't he just look at it?
Because the internet's not a changing thing.
Well, people don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I liked that, we got, I liked the Hawaii storyline. I thought it was fun. And one of my favorite lines, though, was, if you were from a moon, you'd know how deeply offensive that is. Modesto's not a moon.
We were all pretending to be from Hawaii. That's way more problematic culturally.
Yeah, I know. It's so good.
Now, my favorite about that was, they're all from moons. Look at them. Probably talking about tides and werewolves.
So good. So good. Oh man, that reminded me of a story, which I probably shouldn't tell here, because it's from a person that I don't know anymore, but whatever. I knew this girl and she was dating a guy in Mexico. is his Mexican family. And I guess she just hadn't, like, she's dating him. They talk every day. They are, partners. They've been dating like 3 years. They're talking about marriage, like it's a whole thing. And then she's like, I just don't know about moving there. What, like, it's going to be weird because I don't know if it'll have anything in common with his family. And I was like, yeah, I get that. And she's like, I mean, like, what are we going to have for dinner? Just like tacos?
Oh, God.
Right? And I was like, you're not even meaning to be offensive. You're like trying to think of a thing that his family would like know or do. And like, they're just like him, right? Like he's also a Mexican guy who like him well. You're dating him. They're just his family. Like they're not humans that like have varied taste. And, it's just like really weird how she like reduced his face. It was like super offensive and like reduced his entire family down to like a stereotype of like,
oh my gosh,
with like the littlest understanding of their culture at all. And then like, but like you've been dating him for 3 years. Like, what are you guys talk about? I have no idea. And she's married to him now and lives down in Mexico. So I'm sure she's figured it out by now.
I hope so.
Yeah, I bumped into her a couple years ago. It was weird.
That is weird.
Sorry, just that line reminded me of that. Reducing moon culture down to werewolves and tides. But that ended well too with Ransom again saying he was he didn't say this from previous episode, but saying that he was the most organized person on the ship is very similar to what the captain said a couple of episodes ago, that he was one of the best they have. And it seems like Boimler's really making waves on the bridge crew, even though he doesn't, not in the ways he wants to, but he's being recognized, and that's kind of cool.
Which I kind of wish he hadn't been demoted.
When they moved him over?
When they moved him back, That doesn't make sense to me, but, whatever.
Yeah. No, it definitely didn't make any sense, but it was a very Boimler thing to happen, as they say.
Right. And, also, I guess they're kind of making fun of the fact that they kept Thomas Riker his old rank.
It's funny.
But yeah, like, I enjoyed this episode a whole lot.
Yeah, man. Same. One of my other favorite lines was, she's sitting there in the meditation room and her friend, like the other Vulcans come in, and then she says, your rebellions will only lead to punitive spiritualism. I really like that a lot.
That was good.
It's so funny.
I love that T'Lyn quoted Spock from, they actually had two quotes from Star Trek 6, which is my favorite Star Trek movie.
Oh, yeah.
T'Lyn says, logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. And then we had Dorg say, cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, which is, what General Chang yelled from Star Trek 6.
Interesting.
Which is Shakespeare, of course.
Which is also a movie about a group of Klingons trying to sabotage peace.
Absolutely.
So it makes a lot of sense that the writer of this would be sort of channeling Star Trek 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, man.
Dude, I laughed really hard when I realized Captain Freeman's shirt said Ritos.
Uh-huh.
Short for Cerritos.
Yeah.
Like the disco shirts.
Yep. Oh, yeah, like the disco shirts. I didn't even catch it. It was like disco shirts. That's definitely a disco reference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Yep.
That's cool, little weird continuity. I like it.
I loved the Borg lower decks. They're just standing there.
Yep.
Regenerating.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yes.
Me too.
Nothing happened as far as I could tell.
No, nothing happened.
I love that Rutherford is still playing with that DS9 model Tindy gave him.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that? He was just laying in his bunk holding it.
I did, actually. And you know what? I'd forgotten that she gave him that. I'm so the worst memory, man. My brain's falling apart.
It's okay, man. That's what happens. We're over 25. It's all downhill from there.
Downhill from here. All lower decks from here.
I hope that the cadet that Ransom sent to ask Boimler for advice and whatnot sticks around.
Yeah, me too. I kind of hope that we see Boimler move up a little bit. I like the idea of him getting a promotion, or them all getting a promotion, and then realizing they're like still not ranked to a level that, like, they're still dealing with the lower decks problems, you know? They're still not bridge crew. Like, it'd be interesting to see like a different class where you've got like, maybe there's some people under you, but you still have to deal with a lot of bullshit because you're not bridge crew.
Yeah. Which I kind of feel like that was what last week's episode was a little bit, but we're like, now we're captains and this also sucks.
Right. Yeah, I just mean like maybe there's a different, maybe the, like, I don't know, commanders have a different view of the whatever. I don't know what the different ranks are. I'm bad at Navy.
Yeah, no.
Or all military.
It doesn't help that like Starfleet's ranks differ according to era and also aren't consistent with anything we have here.
Right. Sure.
So like, you know, there are all sorts of like, there are tons of like military people who people who are in the military who love Star Trek, but like just sit around quibbling about like the rankings and how it's inaccurate. And I'm like, it's Starfleet, not whatever you're in.
Right. And they're like, shut up. The aesthetics don't matter.
These are all just made up ranks by people anyway. It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, I thought this was a super good episode. Really good. And I'm excited. I guess the season finale is coming this week, and I'm hoping it ties together with this and we get this sort of overarching plot. That's super cool that they're doing that.
By the way, your aesthetic jab did not go unnoticed. I am deeply hurt.
I was just saying that that's what they would be saying to you.
I know, and I'm saying your ranking bullshit doesn't matter.
Exactly, that's my point.
We are all one big happy fleet.
All right, well, I guess that's about it for this episode of Lower Decks, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back in a couple days with the next episode.
If Matt doesn't keep pointing out my hypocrisy.
Jolan faults.
Run away, avoid death, and cower. That's it.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.